Billy F. Gibbons has a new album, Cruisin' with Billy F. Gibbons. So Billy F. Gibbons, if you don't know, is lead guitar player, only guitar player, I guess, and a vocalist in a ZZ Top, along with other things he does here and there. But that's what he's famous for. He's one of the two bearded dudes in ZZ Top. There's 3 beards in ZZ Top, 2 physical beards, guitar and bass, RIP to a previous former bass player. And then there's the drummer, Frank Beard, who does not have a beard, but has the name Beard. So with this, I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's Billy Gibbons, both from the guitar tone and the way he's singing, how it sounds. The songs themselves too, a lot of them have a very ZZ Top vibe, you know, Texas blues style. You know, it's him. There is a song towards the end, actually the last song, that has a very different vibe than the rest. But all the rest of them, I feel, are kind of similar in the style and the tone. What makes the songs different to me is kind of the production of them more than anything else. The drums, for sure, are kind of like, to me, all over the place. Some sound like real drums, some sound like almost programmed drums. The way they're recorded to me is different. His voice is kind of different all over a little bit too. Not really necessarily his tone and his singing, but the production of it, if there's effects or not. Sometimes it's very heavily affected. Other times it's not, but when it is heavily affected, it has almost, at times, almost like a little bit of a robotic sound to it. The guitar is, for the most part, recorded similar in a lot of these. He is known for, if you play guitar or if you're into guitar gear and stuff, you make your guitar sound distorted by using things like distortion pedals or other things that are manipulating the sound beyond the amp. What this guy is known for is taking multiple volume boosts, which on their own are just making you sound louder, not more heavy or distorted. But when you add a bunch of those together and then you slam the amp with it, as they say, it makes the amp just crank over harder, or do whatever it is. These are all terms guitar people use and music people use. So if you don't play guitar, sorry for me sounding like a nerd. But this guy is known for having awesome tone. It has awesome tone, and it has very much like that amp sounds like it's gonna explode kind of sound to it. And there are different tones for different songs that give different vibes. So there's 7 tracks. I didn't look if these were all originals or covers, or in the blues rock world, it's kind of tradition that you hand stuff down. There's usually almost always at least one cover on any blues album. I think it's like mandatory, or it doesn't get published or something. So just talk quickly about the 7 tracks, what they sounded like. The first 2 tracks were very, very ZZ Top. The first one a little bit more than the second one, but the first 2 had a super strong ZZ Top sound. First one was Living It Up Down in Texas. I've reviewed that before. It was released as a single. I'll put a link in the description if you want to hear like an in-depth review of that song. Second song was Missin' Ya Kissin'. This had a little bit of like a George Thorogood vibe to me. Third song was My Lucky Card. This was a heavier song, probably the heaviest on here. It had more of like a Joe Bonamassa, and then parts of it like an Aerosmithy, kind of like 70s rock vibe. This is where I noticed for the first time the drums having kind of like a different sound. And then track 4 is Rollin' and Tumblin'. This was faster. This almost had a little bit of like a rockabilly, Brian Setzer, Stray Cats kind of sound. This is where the drums, before I thought they sounded like really heavy and cool, they almost sounded in this number 4 track almost fake. The guitar solo, this is where also like the whole pushing that amp with multiple, volume pedals. I think he's known for putting like 3 in a row, which is crazy. People just use 1 if they use any. This sounds like it has 10 of them, or like 11 maybe if he's in Spinal Tap. Track 5 is She's on Fire. This almost had like, it was again ZZ Top, but a little bit like a old Grand Funk feel to me. Track 6 is My Baby She Rocks. This sounded more like a Memphis blues, B.B. King kind of song, so to speak. This is where his voice to me had almost like a fake robotic quality. Again, I don't know, it just didn't fit the song to me per se. And then track 7, which is maybe the most unique track, maybe even my favorite, it's called Got Love If You Want It. This had a very like Santana vibe. It had like awesome guitar solo. Has a few guitar solos, but the first solo was really awesome. His voice, again, had like a strange sound to it, but it was cool. The Latin Santana stylish vibe was really cool. So if you like ZZ Top, if you like blues rock, you're going to probably love this. It's just that, you know, there's not a ton of diversity with this, but I don't think you're going into this expecting that, most likely.